Hi, I'm Iris Bolling.
And I'm MidnightAce.
I'm Cara Morris.
Welcome to Well, There You Go, a weekly discussion on books, hooks, and courts, where we give our views on reads, music, and wine. So let's get started with
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go, ladies. We are here. How is everyone this morning?
We are all good.
Wonderful.
And to our audience, welcome again back to another episode of Well, There You Go, where we talk about, as the introduction.
Hi, I'm Iris Bolling.
And I'm MidnightAce.
I'm Cara.
And when we keep playing the introduction, too.
Yeah, so I don't have to tell you that. But today, let me introduce you to my beautiful stage of hosts here. We have Miss Cara Morris, who we better known as MsPrissy from Stylesetters Entertainment. MsPrissy, say a warm welcome to the audience.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us again.
Wow, that was a warm welcome. And also in the studio, we have Miss Iris Bolling, who is USA best-selling author, and also the mastermind behind the book that we're talking about today. So, Miss Iris, say hello to the people.
Hello to the beautiful people out there. How are you guys today?
We are doing well. Listen, we are so happy to talk about this book. Today we are talking about Ruby, Red Slippers, and All. Right? So
Don't you love that title?
I do, and I have a question about the title too, as soon as we get started in that. But anyway, this is part of the Lasseter series, and if you've been with us, if you've been continuing to come back, you know that we're going through the Lasseter series, which I call a Lasseter series, but it's really the Gems Gent series. And again, we're talking about Ruby, Red Slippers, and All by Iris Bolling.
This is one of my favorites out of the
Lasseter. It's a Hallmark love story. Can you believe I actually wrote a Hallmark type love story?
I can, because some of the characters do, you get that.
Yeah. We did. I did not kill anyone. Well.
And Ruby's not as dramatic as
I did not write I'll kill anyone. There's one or two people you don't know what happened to them. You just know they disappeared.
But
that's a difference. That's a difference.
Not really, but okay. Not really, but okay.
Okay.
That little detail is a gray area when we talk about Hallmark. So let's not even talk about that. Although Hallmark is one of my go-to channels for chill out, and so I would really love to see this one there, because I feel like it is a story that is really just tailored for Hallmark.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a wonderful love story, and it's mature.
And I think it's a hopeful one, because this particular Ruby was one of those ones who really, without saying anything, you could just tell that as everybody was moving on and getting on with their life, she was feeling like, what am I going to do? She
right. Right.
She was what, like 38, right? 36.
38.
Yeah, 38.
So she was somewhere up there in the mid-30s.
Yeah. And so the biological clock was like ding dong on the board there.
Yeah. It was
close.
It was close. It was close.
But I have one question before we really dive into the story, you guys. Okay, so Miss Iris, the story is the title is called Ruby, Red Slippers, and All.
Mm-hmm.
What is the and all?
I often wonder that too.
Because there is many facets to Ruby. Mm-hmm. The and all is her family and everything that comes along with her family. Mm-hmm. The red slippers is what I thought you was going to ask about, but the red slippers is really from Devon's.
Right, yeah.
father's company.
That's that always wanted to reach out and help people. You know, when you have someone who is an activist, a community activist, that you have to understand that that is a part of who that person is. And so you're going to have to accept that too. What made it easy for Devin is that was also his father.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the whole concept behind the Aaron's place, it was because that's what his father believed in, helping those who were less fortunate than what he was.
Right.
You know, and the Red Slippers was actually, remember, it's a program that he started for his employees in order to give his employees something back too. So that's a part of Ruby's makeup. Ruby is a nurturer. She is a community activist. She's going to help her homeless people, and she's going to make sure that they have the things that they need in order to survive. So that's you got Ruby, the Red Slippers part of Ruby, and All, which is her larger than life family.
Yeah, I have to say, the first time I read Ruby's Red Slippers and All, I got the reds. I didn't get the Red Slippers, but I think like the second time and a second or third time or something, and definitely when I just kind of perused through it, this time I got it. I knew where the Red Slippers came from, but that's what prompted me to ask about the And All, because
the And All is, listen, if you're gonna get Ruby, you're gonna also have to get the Red Slippers part of Ruby, which is her helping the community. But And All
is that family.
The And All runs into the family.
Right.
So there.
Ruby's like Ruby's story kind of reminds me of my family. Like my mom had 8 siblings. So after my grandmother, she was like the second mom, but she helped raise her siblings and everything. So that story is really, Ruby's story really meant something to me, you know, kind of touched me there.
Yeah.
And, so
I had a really quick story. The first time that I wrote Ruby's story and it came out, I was laid out.
Really?
One of my readers, I went to some event. One of my readers took me aside and said, don't you ever put out a short story like that. That is not what we are used to getting from you. That is not acceptable. I feel cheated because I didn't get you know, a whole book. I think Ruby's story, my opinion, Ruby is not flamboyant like her brothers and her sisters. You know, that's not her. She is just Ruby. Ruby's about family and she's about taking care of people.
Right.
That's Ruby. So she wasn't going to have a book like Adam's book or like Joshua's book. She was going to have a Pearl book, which Pearl's book I think was actually shorter than Ruby's book. I'm not sure, but you know, she was going to have that type of story. She was going to have the big, this is happening and this one is down and we're going to this country and she's going there. Ruby's story fit Ruby.
Right. Yeah. I felt like you made a conscious effort. If you really pay attention, most of the Gems books are short stories, except for Diamond and Fire. The rest of them, well, because
Jay's book is not all that short.
That's true too. And
it's
because and Opal is connected, you know, that's like a 2 for 1. You know,
2 for 1. That's true.
Yeah. True. So I felt like, you know, you did good for the gems that got the, you know, book, but it was a whole lot of stuff going on in those books. If you added any more.
That's true. That's true.
The Pearl book came. I was like, this book is short story, but honey, Pearl just, oh my gosh. Pearl was just, her book was deep, and so was Ruby's book.
Ruby's book was too.
Right.
Yeah.
At least I think it was.
I think with Ruby for me, not to come at you like that, like you don't you ever write another book like that. But as most readers do, and I think I'm not alone with this, when you have a story like Ruby's story, you just want more. You know what I mean? You just don't want to leave that setting because her story was so heartfelt, and
Right.
and like you said, it was true to her. And yeah, and she wasn't, out fighting all the bad guys. In her own way, she was a superhero, but it wasn't like a country, you know what I mean? Um but I did feel like, at that last page when I turned the page, I was like, oh, do you have to leave, like that? I wanted more.
Yeah.
Um, but it's funny though, and what you just perfectly said about what was your mindset about writing Ruby's story was very perfect. Not that you guys
Yeah.
don't have to repeat that, because you are your own, you are the creator, right? But it's funny though, I was thinking about that. Like, I did not feel that same way about Pearl's book. You know what I mean? When Pearl's book, I felt like, okay, this was Pearl's story. And maybe it's because we knew we were going to see Pearl again.
Well, I
Okay.
think it's because Pearl got on our nerves. And when
Definitely.
Pearl's story ended, we
It could
was
have
ready
been.
for Pearl's story to end. Because Pearl got on our nerves. That's why I think
Yes.
you didn't
But
quite
I
do it
love, but
that
we
way.
love
You
Theo
take
though.
everybody out of their misery. Marry him already, Pearl.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
You
Yeah.
know what happened before.
Yeah, but I mean, I think across the board, even to this day, I feel like if I could, grab one of my book buddies just out of the blue and we talk about Ruby Red Slippers and all, and they would all say, we really want more of her. We want more of her.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like you said, it was specific to her, and you know
It
what I mean.
was.
Yeah. But let's talk about though, Miss Ruby, honey. Listen, she may not be a crime fighter, but baby, she is packed with a punch. When
She
she
is,
took that
but
dollar bill out and put it on, that
Yes.
is one of my favorites. That is one of my
don't you want
favorites.
to, in all honesty, don't you want to do that to some people that you meet?
All the
Mm-hmm.
time,
Yes.
honey. I would go broke doing that, because
Honey child, please. Yes.
it's a shirt that I should probably make for myself, and it's just like, listen, look at me. Do I care?
Look. You know what that just reminded me of? When my kids was graduating, right? And my son, even to this day, he always said, my friend said, Mom, my friend said, and one day I just got so I was like, do it look like I care about what your friend said?
Right.
If you say, my friend said to me, one more again.
One more again.
Right.
Yes, honey. But I like Pearl's story. And like you said, because she was a community person and she helped people in her community and stuff, she had that giving spirit of, just wanting to help people. Because I was like, Devin, when he went to that shelter,
This is a shelter.
and I would have thought Pearl was the person
Director.
Was running the place, right?
was running the place, was getting ready to leave.
You mean Ruby, not Pearl. You mean Ruby.
I mean, Ruby, yes.
And there's something to be said about and I think, in my mind, this is what I'm thinking Devin was probably thinking. He was probably side-eyeing when the director comes
Yes.
into the office and says, hey, I'm leaving, you got this or whatever. And then when he questioned her, and everybody told him that she was a volunteer, meaning that this woman, works a full-time job,
Yes.
comes to this center and spends the night there and get nothing from it. Now, in Ruby's mind, she was being fulfilled, regardless
Right.
of the financial aspect of it. But let's just say there are some people out there, but that's not a lot of us, that will leave a full-time job and then go spend the night at a shelter with all kinds of unknowns. And this
Right.
particular
Right.
day,
So was
there
she
were a lot of
connected?
unknowns, right?
Yeah. But
And
you
she
could tell
put
she was connected to the people, because look at how the children came to her, and
that was funny though.
Yeah, that was.
When you walked up in that place and all those kids was running here and about and doing da 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 da, and as soon as she walked in the door, they were like, huh?
What with the book? When as soon as she said the book went in the air, I knew it was her that had caught it. Because she's a football player, so of course she was going to catch it. I love that scene. I could just see, like, mama's home.
Yeah. Ruby, she had everything and everyone under control in that shelter.
She did, but she also ran things. She's the one who kind of organized things as well. But the thing about it is, not only did she leave a full-time job, when she came to the shelter, she gave 100% at the shelter too, because she took the time to learn the people.
Yeah.
She knew. Remember Mr. X?
Yes, that's what I was saying.
She knew what Mr. X situation was, right? And then remember she talked about the family that was there, and said
no job,
no money at every. It's not some situations. It's not about money. Some situations it's other things going on. As well.
I appreciated that you tackled that in that story, because a lot of people believe that, like when Devin said he was giving him a job and everything, and the wife's like, her husband needs help with more than just the job.
Right. He needed help.
Right. He needed
because he was dealing with what is it called? PTSD. Post-traumatic symptoms. So he was dealing with that too. So while he did need a job to be able to support his family, he needed help to be able to support his family.
I didn't discount him for doing that, but it was like Ruby said, you have to take a step back and look at the entire situation. You can't just, like she said, throw money at it. But them together were a complete package, right?
Yes.
Because she had all the nurturing and he had all the, he had the finances to put behind it. So I think Aaron's house would be a nice asset because they get the best of both worlds with them.
And let's be clear, to think she was about to not even be interviewed because of her appearance.
Right.
Remember?
Yes, right.
It was raining. It was snowing, raining. I don't forget which one.
Raining.
Which one it was.
To help Devin's mother with the tire.
Which she didn't even know. She was just because the last of the girls, they know how they can get underneath of the hood of the car, as we learned in Pearl's story. They can change tires. They know how to do these things. And she saw this elderly woman on the side of the road and just stopped to help out of the kindness of her heart. And it was raining out there too. And she stopped to help the woman. Not knowing who that woman was. It didn't matter. She saw a person that was in need, and she went to help that woman.
But you know what? I love the authenticity. I can't even say that word. Of Ruby, because when you visualize her going to this interview, and when she gets to the interview, you get a full script of what her characteristic looked like, right?
Right.
She had this red suit on. She had these red pumps on. And I just immediately said that has Pearl all over it, the way she was dressed, right?
The way she was dressed, right?
But just think about that. Look at that. You got this woman in this get up, and then she's under the car in the rain, right?
Yes.
And then like look at this now. Visualize this. She you know what it takes to change a flat tire, right? And then when she's done, she's walking to her car, and then she gets flagged. And at no point did she skip a beat. It is what it is. Oh well, this is what they're gonna get. What I'm getting, and I love that about her, because You know, if it had been just a, you know, a woman, she would have, oh shoot, I broke a nail. Oh, my pantyhose ran. Oh, you know, and then her day would have been ruined. But she came right up in there, and then she goes to the interview, and she gets, you know, annihilated, or at least they try, right? And then, honey, she throws down that dollar and say, "Hey, I don't need this. You
Right.
can
I have a
I got a
job.
job,
Like, I
right?
have a job.
I got a job." So, Ruby for me was a complete package. She just,
Yeah, and she made, you could tell she made a you know, an impression on the people in that room, because
He did.
after she left, you know, they didn't even really know it, but they gave um you know, her impression, and they was telling Devin, you know, that she was there and everything, you know, how they spoke of her, that she was there and she left.
Yeah, and they also said, well, really the best candidate, we
Yeah,
didn't get an opportunity to really talk with, you know, because of the situation. So, and they could care less about, Lord, I forgot her name. What was her name?
Tanya,
But,
something.
was it Karina? I don't know why.
no, no,
It
Karina was
Tanya.
the good one.
Yeah, it was Tanya.
It was something with a
Oh yeah,
T.
Tania.
Tiana. Was it Tiana or something
Tania.
like that? But anyway, she is forgettable. Um, but Ruby went in and she impressed the other people who were there. Now,
Right,
one or two of them had heard of her,
right.
you know,
The
and they knew
city director
she
or
did.
whoever that person was.
Right.
Yeah,
And they had heard of her and how she handled things at the shelter.
shelter.
That was the whole reason that she had the interview, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But Tiana didn't even give her an opportunity to speak,
She
you
was on
know,
her high horse.
or anything like that. So
Yeah,
so they spoke up on her behalf. The other
They
people
did.
who were in the room spoke
They
up on
did.
her behalf.
but she
And
was
Devin's
recommended. They
mom
said
was
that she was
too young.
recommended by the mayor's office, and then I'm trying to think back.
Yeah,
At the
it was in the
time,
story when somebody told her about that job, that they was looking for someone of her, you know, experience. I forget what book that was in as well, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it
yeah, but
was.
I was thinking back when they said that she was recommended by the mayor's office. I was thinking the mayor that was in place at that time was not such a
Well,
wasn't such a
they,
nice
they they
guy.
just indicated it was she was recommended by the mayor's
Yeah,
office, not by the mayor.
Yeah,
by
yeah,
the mayor.
right,
It's
Yeah,
someone in the mayor's office that halfway cared about the city.
yeah.
right.
But
You know,
and then
Because that
also
mayor that
too,
was in place at that time,
right?
yeah,
He was all about
he would have
self.
been on Tiana's side.
But and then even let's talk about Tiana though. It's that's not how you say her name though, but that's for the intents and purposes. It's spelled Tania. So I don't know. But with her, even though
Spell it
she was
again.
it's I think it was Tania.
okay, so we know
Tania.
who.
Tania.
Yeah,
I think it's
Tania.
Tania. I think
Tania.
it's
Because
Tania.
I was gonna
Tania.
say, I mean, it's the spelling does not necessarily mean that that's you know what I mean. You could say
Yeah.
it any kind of way. But even with her, and even after everything that happened with her and Ruby, in the very end, I feel like between her and Devin, they both had hearts of gold because they were able to see, you know, that she was a victim. Like, and I don't think, even including myself at the time of reading that, I don't know that I would have necessarily been so excited about giving her another chance. Um,
I wasn't.
yeah, because you know when somebody does that, um, you just don't know. You know what I mean? Because if you get
I
away with it,
think what helped her was the guy, the director that she was sleeping with.
Yeah,
He spoke up for her. You know, when
yeah,
Ruben and them got to the house, he
that
spoke
was
up for her. Well, we're not there yet, but you know, he spoke up for her and what she was dealing with. Um,
hmm,
you know, and everything. And I think that went a long way because he was one of the people that also spoke up for Ruby
right.
when they were in that interview. you know.
Right. And to
So
think about it, when he did speak up for Ruby, I think what's her name, Tanaya or whatever, she wasn't happy. It was a part in there you can tell that she
she
wasn't
rolled her
happy.
eyes or
Yeah,
something. She
yeah,
did do
something like that.
something.
But then Ruby jumped right up on that. She was like, "Oh, so that's how you pay for school. So you really and technically you know better than what you thought
Then,
I was, right?"
Right, right.
And so, you know, I don't know with that. Maybe at that point, because Ruby left, she was like, I don't want to even spend no time. It was worthless to spend any time on her because she's not worth it.
Yeah,
right,
but also remember, all at the same time, she's dealing with what's happening with her father, which we
right,
haven't gotten to that part yet.
Yeah.
But she's dealing with what's happening with her father, and you know, family is everything to
everything.
the last
Yes.
But
everything.
yeah, and
My
the way
favorite
she
part.
handled that, handled that was amazing too. I mean, she
Hmm.
had a lot of high points in this book.
She
Yeah.
did.
One of my favorite parts was when she didn't come home that night and how all of her siblings was at her house waiting for her the next morning. And you know, of course, Fire and her sassy self.
You know, one of the blessings about going back and reading these stories is seeing all of them grow up.
Right.
I mean, remember how Matt was when we first met Matt?
That's what I'm saying. I
Remember
was
how
just
Matt was?
character development, man.
Yeah, and then we have Fire now, who has really look to go back and see
Yeah,
her.
Fire is absolutely the one who has really just blossomed the most. Like
Yes, it
really.
really has. And the one of my favorite parts is when they was waiting for her and everything at her house,
Then
and
she was
then
upstairs getting dressed,
right,
and
the the mama said, "Let's make sure your brothers are here tonight, you know, so they can have that family power thing."
the power that they do all
Yes.
the time.
But the thing is, when they was going shopping for her, once they found out where she was going and everything, and everybody ran out to the vehicle, and Ruby and her mother was still in the house, so they couldn't leave without her because they was going shopping for her. That was funny. And somebody snatched the chicken wing or something out of Pearl's hand.
Because Pearl was pregnant at this time. By this time, Pearl was pregnant.
But listen, even I was surprised when Pearl was the one that was like, "Oh heck yeah, we going shopping." Because I thought I would have expected for Pearl to say something like, "You better not be putting all your eggs in one basket with this man." Yeah, I was expecting
Yeah,
by that time.
but she's past that point
Right,
now.
yeah.
You know, she's past that point now. But remember, your dressers was diamond, opal, and pearl.
Yeah.
Those were your dressers. You know, so when it came to dressing any of the women, any of the girls for anything, you know, those are the three closets that you would go to, right? You would go to those three because they would remember they dressed
Fire.
They dressed Fire. Remember, Pearl was assigned to Diamond when Diamond was going after Zachary, and she dressed Diamond with that navy blue suit on with the blouse and everything. When
Yeah.
Diamond. I mean, Zach. So those were Pearl was the shopper. She was the one that knew, you know, what to put on your body to get somebody's attention, and she did. You know, she did do that. So that was a great, but that was great. What I love about that scene even more is when he realized that his Joe, oh Lord, I lost it. His Joe was his Joe. Their father was his Joe.
Father. Right. Oh, that's the point where they kept saying, "You're sleeping with Dad's boss."
Yeah. Which they were.
I know, but the way they kept pressing the part, and Jay was like, "That don't sound good. Let's stop saying that and just call the man by his name."
Well, it was her fault too.
It was, you know, so that was I love that scene when he realized that Ruby was Joe's daughter. You know, and it was like he couldn't be in better hands, and he knew it.
Right.
Yeah. Joshua and Adam looked at him like, what the hell is wrong with him?
But I like how naive he was when he came in there like, come on, let's go. When they was doing that inquisition.
Right.
Pulled out that gun.
Yeah, when he said, shoot, Joshua, he's like, well, you know.
What you asked for.
Right.
With him. Oh my God. My jaws
I thought it was so many good parts in this story, but I'm gonna tell you my favorite part in this story, and I don't know why this is, but in this particular story, my favorite part was when they all gathered at the party and they start the prayer circle.
Yes.
And I don't know if the readers caught it, but when they started that prayer circle, Aaron started talking to Joe in the hospital.
Yes.
When they started that prayer circle up, they sent Aaron, who was there for the listening audience, they sent Aaron to talk to Joe.
You know what? I caught all of that. I caught the fact that there is power in words. And when the mother specifically said, Aaron, I need for you to earn your wings. She didn't exactly say this, but it's time for you to earn your wings. I need for you to go and send Joe back to us. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that part right there, I still get chills about that one there. But then you also said when that circle was formed and they started to say those words, that was at the same time that Joe woke up.
Joe woke up at the hospital.
Yeah. Joe woke up. I that was a touching moment for me, as well as when the siblings gathered in the hospital where there's more than two. Honey, I was in tears. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. And they was praying for their father. I thought that moment just got me right here, And
it was like you guys said, there was a lot of moments in Ruby's book when she sat down and she talked to Mr. X and convinced Mr. X to give Devin his laptop back.
Yeah.
But she knew that's where it was, in the way that she talked with him.
Yeah. She didn't yell at him or nothing.
I'll give you a hug. But she knew that's all she had to do for Mr. X. And I love the fact that at the end of this story, they hired Mr. X. Right, but Devin was like, he's blind.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. How do you get a job when he's blind? Oh my God, that was funny.
That was funny. But
when it was at the hospital and Devin got to really see Ruby for who she was, she was like, look, I don't have time for you right now. My family needs me. Right. And she just jumped right in there and did what she had to do.
And that was the end all. Because you saw her. What Devin had to see was everything that he would have to share Ruby with. Right? Because yes, he wanted her, but he had to be able to accept all of her. And that was my way of showing the all of her, because he got to see her in her element at the center. Right? They got to see in that element. Then he got to see her in that element of her being the big sister.
Right.
And taking them through that very trying time of what they were going through for days.
Yep. And she
not knowing one way or another, and she had to be there for Sally too. This was one time that we saw Sally for just a little bit. We saw that. And then once Ruby got there, she was able to take care of things.
Right. She gave.
And she tried to remember when she tried to tell it the head, the administrator at the hospital said, okay.
Yeah, she was trying to get the administrator, but it was the nurse that was there.
The nurse said, okay, you're about to be hit. You're about to be hit with the lights that you have never seen. So
And
the
she knew what she
administrator.
told Pearl.
He said the man that is laying up in there is the father to the press secretary and a CIA agent.
And she just ran it down. She said,
Picked up that phone real quick.
Right.
Yeah.
She was like, but listen, like she did that Kermit thing, but listen, I'm trying to tell you, if you don't want to listen to me,
I'm just trying to tell you. And then as each person came in, as each family member came in, Ruby knew what to say to get them where she needed them to be.
Right.
She gave everybody an assignment.
Yep.
She gave everybody an assignment.
And I think everybody just waited for that. They knew when Ruby got there that they knew what they needed to do, because at that point nobody knew what to do.
Right.
But I also like the fact that in this story too, you gave us two blessings, right? You gave us, and you know what I'm saying? Power is in life and death, right?
Yes.
So you had a man that was in its way, going, but then you had another one coming in. But you know what I mean? It's just like it's just a wonderful thing. But I was curious though, what did he say to Joshua? What did he whisper in Joshua's ear?
When
I thought he was telling him a name.
He was telling him a name.
Okay, that I thought about that, but then I was like, maybe that wasn't.
He was telling him a name, but Joshua's son was going to be Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua's son was going to be Joe, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he was telling Joshua a name.
Okay, and I was like saying, okay, wasn't doing that because?
But wasn't Joshua amazing in this too? Joshua was the one that was sitting in that room with Sally, reading to his father. Okay, you're gonna stay out this time. Yeah. Reading to his father, remember?
Yeah. Reading scripture.
Yes, that was Joshua.
Yeah.
That was doing that. Now, would we have expected that from Joshua?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think he is one. Yeah, no, because I think Joshua is one of the. He is one of the. I think probably one of the only ones, but I mean that we have seen that can quote. Yeah.
He is grounded. He is grounded in the word.
Yeah.
He is grounded for all the craziness that he does. For life in life. Mm-hmm. Joshua is the one that is the most grounded.
I think he was more. He showed you more of who Joshua was in the Bible in his name. Not saying that he was that Joshua, but you saw more of the Bible Joshua come out of Joshua than you did the other ones, even though all of them were after the Bible.
I think with Joshua, he does not only know scripture from the Bible, he knows which application and which scripture
and how to apply it.
And that's a difference, with people. People can know the Bible and you can know scriptures because you're brought up on there are certain type of scriptures that we read all the time. But when you get into a crisis, then you got to know which one is for that particular crisis, because everyone is different.
Exactly.
My brother is like that, and so yeah. So I mean, for me, it's my brother that I'll pick up the phone and call. Like if I've been in situations where I'm so hot and I can't see the forest for the trees. I know I need to pray, but I don't know what the right words to say. And so I have to call him up like, listen, what can I read right now? Because I'm going through this. And he'll just be calm down. This is what you read from me. He'll give me a scripture and then I'm good. But yeah, so I admire that about him, because we all know scripture, but when you got to know the right one and when to apply it. And that's what Joshua does.
Yeah, and he does. But also, this is at the point where we done skipped all through this book and we haven't told the listening audience whatever happened in the story. we have the oldest sister of the Lasseter clan. Her name is Ruby, and Ruby Pearl has just gotten married, and she's like, even Pearl, has gotten married, and so she was so used to being the one that took care of everyone. Now she sees everyone is growing up, they're getting married, they're meeting people, and they're going on with their lives. And she's like, where is that going to leave her? She's in her middle 30s now. she's never really had a real steady boyfriend, or anything like that.
Right.
And she just didn't see that happening for her, And so when she goes to this, she gets this interview, and she goes to this interview. We already talked about how she looked at this interview, and she comes up against this person who doesn't even give her an opportunity.
Right.
You have to get that. So what is great about this is that Devin, who was now stepping into his father's role because his father had passed away, and so Devin was now taking over the corporation, right? And so Devin, there was one last thing that he had to do, that his father had started a project for homeless, for those less fortunate than him. And so he had to find the right administration staff to handle that project. And that project was near and dear to him and his mother, because it was something that the father had wanted to do.
Right.
So they wanted to make sure that the right person was found to, to head up this project. And of course, in comes Ruby. But what's her name again?
Tania.
Whatever her name is with the T. She decided that she wanted her cousin to be in that role, because he was about to be fired from another position that it was in, because they was doing some skimming work, some skimming stuff on the side from these companies.
Right. Was that her half brother?
Half brother.
Yeah.
Oh, half brother.
Right.
See, I don't even remember what it was. But so what she was doing is she was sending supplies and stuff from their corporation over to him, so that he could replace or make it seem like the things that he claimed he had ordered had indeed been ordered, but he was taking that money, he was skimming off the top.
Right.
And so when Ruby doesn't get her interview, Devin decides to go to her, because now she's saying, F y'all. I don't think y'all after the way she was treated.
Yeah.
Right. And so he kept calling and saying that, he really would like to interview her. And she hung up on him. I don't know.
First, Tania was calling her because Devin wanted to get her back, get her back here.
Get that interview.
Yeah, and when Ruby hung up on her twice.
Yes.
And then it was Devin that called her. So yeah.
And some of the things that Ruby said at her mom, you knew she was a lassie. You knew some of the things that she said to her, but she didn't think twice.
Yeah.
When she put $1
Yeah, that dollar. But then she also said, this Mr. Devin, whoever he is, I don't think I want to work for him anyway, because if he let people like that
working for him.
I think he actually said that when he was on the phone.
Yeah, to Devin. But he decided he would go to where she was, because he understood that an injustice had been done there, to her. And he really wanted the right person for this. So he said for his father. So he went to the shelter. And then when he went to the shelter, he got a full-fledged greeting, from the children to all the people walking around. Somebody was trying to burn down the kitchen.
The lady was in there cooking. That little girl was like, I don't care what he's talking about, who he knows, what you need to do. You need to come now.
Yes, burning up our food. We know Ruby could cook.
Yeah. So he went to her. And when he got there, this is what I loved about Devin, and I hope the readers picked up on it. He didn't turn around and walk back out.
No.
He saw what was happening in there, and he went behind that counter and he started helping. Getting people because the snowstorm was coming, and he went in and he started helping. He didn't know what to do,
right?
But he did what he could, to help out. And while he was doing that, he saw this woman come in, and the chaos disappeared.
Right.
From the moment she walked in the door, the chaos of all that was going on disappeared. You know,
It
and
did.
then when he finds out that that is Ruby, he's determined that
Mhm.
that's the woman that they did not get to interview. Now he is more than determined
Right.
to
Yes.
get an interview for her.
But
You
what
know,
what what
I
a
like
what a
that
very
walk they
unique
took in the snow, though.
what a very unique interview she had. You know, that's no denying of that. And I mean, he would have been a fool not to grab her up. You know, but even the first time when I read this, even in that whole situation there, I was very surprised that Ruby didn't hold some kind of, position there because of all of the stuff that she was doing and how this director was so,
Just left everything in her
easily just
hands.
left everything a volunteer, you know what I mean, in there because if something were to go down, uh no volunteer can take the slack for that. That comes on you. You
but
know what I mean?
actually, when you have a volunteer at the caliber of
Yeah,
a Ruby Lasker, you can. You know, the
yeah,
snowstorm was
yeah.
coming. She knew it would be crazy. That director packed up her stuff, put on her coat, and went
But a
home.
Yeah.
but a true but a true director should have been rolling up her sleeves and sitting where Devin was sitting, help checking those people in, and then
And all
leaving
of
if
that.
that's what you had to do, right?
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
she didn't
yeah,
care, and
No,
yeah.
and that's what happens to a lot of these,
Shelters
helpless
and things.
centers and
It's about.
shelters like that. You have people who are there and have these jobs, but they're not committed to the work that needs to be done for the job.
Yeah, that is
very
true.
true.
But we can
No,
clearly see that Ruby was.
right,
Yeah,
right. Guys, I want to say this point before I forget. And with all that Ruby was doing in that shelter, remember Matt said he worked with his sister for the summer. And
Yes,
yeah,
I really believe that now I can see when he saw what his sister was doing impacted him that
yes,
he didn't want to work with
yes.
her.
like Devin, like Devin.
Just like
Yeah,
Devin, just
yeah,
like Devin.
yeah, yeah,
But,
yeah.
but since we talked about the brothers, let's talk about that scene when Ruby came in to the kitchen, and it was at the time when Joshua had Teddy there for the first time.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
And
Hmm.
Ruby came in with the groceries, going back and forth, talking to herself and stuff, and she's already pissed when she get in there to get ready to start working on Thanksgiving dinner. And she
Mm.
look at Adam and she look at Joshua and she goes, what y'all done did now? And both of them is like, nothing. You know, we're talking about now. Let's think about who we're talking about. We're talking about Joshua
Joshua.
and Adam Lester. And
They were so happy to get out of that kitchen.
this is when Adam has come into his own now. Remember, this was during the time where he was at the FBI. He had met
Mhm.
Amber and all
Yeah.
this stuff, and he came there for Thanksgiving dinner. It was during that time. And Ruby came in there, and these two larger than life men, her brothers, you know, she walked in the door and they both straightened right up. They straightened right up. Even though Sally and Joe was in there too, but they was like, mm-mm. Ruby just walked in the door
Right.
and everybody straightened up.
Joshua is just happy that his mother wasn't questioning him anymore.
Because now the attention was on what's wrong with Ruby, because
Oh yeah,
that's
because
not
she was
Ruby.
like, men,
I,
women
but I,
dicks.
I love how when it was all said and done,
I was just like, is that my Ruby?
look, but then I like how they was going to hear, like, yeah, the heifer, yeah, the heifer, everything was about the Miss Heifer. But I like how Sally said, she walked out of the room, she gave Joe one look,
Gave you a look.
Joshua, your daughter, you better get her. Now, we don't know, we ain't never
Yeah.
seen this side of her. You need to
Right.
Oh God, that scene, that kitchen scene. That was a funny scene to me. That was hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I also in this particular one, I also like how Ruby was able to look at. I think her name was Katrina. It wasn't Katrina, but it started with a K. The young girl that Aaron, that Devin was looking at as a possibility for the human resource position,
Right.
along with
Tania.
Tania, along with her, right? And he still had made a decision, on, and it was something holding him back. He didn't know what was holding him back. He couldn't explain it, but it was something that wasn't quite right. And he just could not give that human resource director position to whatever I named that child with the teeth.
Tania.
He couldn't give it to her because he understood, especially after meeting Ruby, he understood that the human resource position needed to be a person that cared about other people.
Right.
He understood the importance of that too.
Well, the human resources is also, with any corporation, it is the face of the corporation. That's who people come through first.
That's right.
Either, if not the human resource director, one of their, employees or that works up under them is the face. And when you have people coming and you give off these vibes, a lot of people
she certainly gave off that vibe.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why he almost lost Ruby.
Yeah. But I like when Cameron came and said that, Aaron's house needed her.
Wait a minute.
People too.
Wait a minute. This was too. I was just like, Cameron, remember when she needed Tania's address and she called Cameron in the middle of the night? It was like, what, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning?
And Cameron said, "Can I come?"
Right. He was first when she woke up. Like, okay, so first of all, that's not something you give to somebody. And at that point, Ruby wasn't officially an employee.
Right.
But she came. She had met her that one time when she walked through the facility, and she just rattled it off, and then was like, "Can I come?" So that was an impression that she made on her because giving her that address.
She was, and you're right. They had just met that one time when she was showing her around the facility.
I'm thinking about the way I work. It's always about HIPAA. I'm not giving no information because I don't want to be hauled off to jail. But then
Cameron was like,
blah, 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 blah. I was like, what? You gonna be in trouble? I'll be in trouble tomorrow.
But look, she gave us. You going to do what? Oh, really? Yeah. Here's the number. Here's the address. Have at it. Can I come watch?
That whole scene when they got to the house too, it was like she was already guilty of assault, right? Because she just threw the punch and then then she said, "This is what it's for." But then I love how the guy, what was his name? The director. Oh my God.
Director.
Yeah. So he came down and even he was like, he understood the situation. And he was just like, "No, officer, everything is fine." Like, you know what I mean? And then I think it was this little thing in there where she just rolled her eyes or something at him. I don't know. But at that point, it was like, he understood that this needed to happen.
Right.
Nobody could go move forward past this.
Right. But also, what was funny about that scene too was Fire driving. Was Fire said, "I'll move the car," and it was like, "Wait a minute." Yeah, all of us are a little hot right now, but Fire driving. Wait a minute. Hold up.
Look, some level heads had to prevail at that point,
That's
right?
True.
Yeah.
That's true. That is very true.
Yeah.
To talk about this story, there is so much in it. But the book, when you look at it, when you get it, it's very deceiving, right?
It is.
It's very deceiving. And then when I purchased the book, initially I was not sure of whether or not I could guess. I was buying all the books in hard copy, and I was told that Ruby Red Slippers, because of the size of the book, would not be in hardback. But baby, You did it, honey.
I did. I
You
did.
You
I
did
did
it. You
because
did
so
it.
many
And that is
people,
one of my most cherished
so many
stories.
people asked for it. They requested it. I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and and
Yeah.
get it done. But guys, ladies, we've come to the end of the show.
I know, man. And listen, we complaining about the book not being big enough, but look, we ain't, as usual, we ain't touched everything in the book. And
We,
it's
and it's because we haven't even told the listening audience what happened to Joe. Why was people praying for Joe? In this particular story,
Well,
this
let
is
them pick up the book and find out.
I
well,
guess they gonna,
okay, we can
I
leave it
guess they
like
gonna
that.
have to, because listen, we out of time. Sorry.
We out of time at this point. But
So come on, listen, y'all come on back next time, and then we'll fill you in on what happened with Joe.
there you go. Yeah, because actually it's a part of Adam's story too. Remember,
Oh, that's right. So they
it's all happening
find out.
Yes.
at the same
Oh
time.
my God, guys, you got to come back, because that is another
Yes.
great one. We say that all the time, but listen, honey, when we talk about heating elements of that book right there. Oh, and oh my gosh, isn't that the book where we get Pendleton, Ty Pendleton comes in and Kiki comes in too? Yes, y'all got to come back. Y'all got to come back next time.
That's
No,
not.
that's Opal. That's
Okay,
Opal
that's
and Timothy.
Oprah. Yeah. Okay.
That's the next book. That's the next book.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'm going, look, the train is moving.
Ready for it, right?
I gotta slow it down. Whoa.
But this is the one where Sly comes in.
Yes.
Sly is in this one.
Okay.
So Sly comes into this one, and you get to meet Amber.
Yeah.
And all that's going on with Amber, and you get to see a Conde again.
Yeah, and we get to go to another country.
Yeah, and then you get a chance to see Adam in his true element. Now, not that as a high school student. Now you see him as a man,
college student.
Exactly, and you see where he's starting to hone in on his skill set. He's starting to hone in on the skill set.
Okay, let's not go any further.
Okay.
Okay. So MsPrissy, why don't you tell us what song you have for us for this?
So the song for Ruby Red, I had a hard time because it was like so many songs that just came to me, and I wanted Ruby to have, even though everything happened with Joe, I wanted Ruby to have a love song. And the love song that I picked, if I could get my phone open, I think it is You're My Woman by, am I even saying the title right? By Stephanie Mills. It was a song by Stephanie Mills, y'all. So, okay, I got it in there now. So this song was so touching.
Stephanie Mills?
Huh?
By Stephanie Mills?
Yeah, it was a song by Stephanie Mills. And I'm gonna tell you, that song touched me. Because remember, she thought she wasn't gonna have a love.
That is true.
And also too, like in that too, I think when they did the Inquisition with Devin, they also took into account that at her age she might not have any children, so be aware of that. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm so happy when Iris did give her
twins,
girl, twins.
Yes.
You said Stephanie Mills, and the song that I actually, when I was writing that story, because remember it's a Christmas story. And Stephanie Mills has a song called "Coming Home to Christmas with You," and for me, that was the song that I kept in the playlist, because I put together a playlist every time I'm doing the story. So that's the song that I put in that playlist. MidnightAce,
Feel the Fire.
Oh Lord, Feel the Fire. Yes, we felt the fire with that one. Now Midnight, you're gonna have to tell us about the wine.
Yeah, so guys, this one, it was a simple kind of story. It was a very heartwarming story. So for this one, I just did the classic romance red from Cooper's Hawk. It's got a medium weight to it. You can enjoy the book and the wine and not get, topsy turvy. It just kind of goes together. So it's Romance Red by Cooper's Hawk.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now, ladies, we do have to close it out. Midnight Ace, tell people where they can meet you, where they can find you when you're not here.
Okay, so for me, guys, you can find me on my website at www.MidnightAceBookBar.com and all social media platforms at Midnight Ace Book Bar on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. So that's where you find me. Oh, and YouTube, guys. Go out there if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. It's at Midnight Ace Book Bar 1984. Go on out there and subscribe because that is where I'm going to be spending most of my time. So come on and join me.
MsPrissy, tell them where they can find you when you're not here with us hanging out.
Okay, first I want to say this. It's hard, like the music selection that I give y'all, because I listen to so many types of music. When I choose the song for the books, it really has to connect with the story. And so that's why it's so hard sometimes, like Will Downing and what's her name, Pharrell. It was so hard between those two.
Pharrell.
Yeah. Never felt something like this before.
Yeah.
It was hard between that and Stephanie Mills because they was just anyway. Y'all can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I can be reached at my Gmail at styleset.et@gmail.com. That's stylesett@gmail.com.
Well, thank you, MsPrissy. None of that is going to be able to be played because we are well over our 1 minute time limit. But for those who are still listening, my name is Iris Bolling. You can find me on my website, www.irisbolling.com. Of course, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find me there as well. And we want to say thank you again for joining us for another episode of
Well, there you go.
Welcome to